The story of the Silent Sea is that of a complicated one, yet at the same time it lays itself bare, telling the story and leaving little room for interpretation. Instead of attempting to refilm it in a single movie like his first shorts back in 2014, The Sea of Tranquility, Choi Han-young broke the piece into 8 episodes, yet still allowing events to unravel naturally, flowing like water. This decision led to truly special moments within the show, but at the same time the story was gasping for air towards the ending moments. More on that later on. The show's strongest narrative tool is weaponizing hope against the viewer. This false sense of security and the idea of, as one would say, light at the end of the tunnel is present throughout the lunar mission. Characters, no matter what kind of light they are under, all have their own version of an ideal outcome. Most of the time, the glimpse of security and achievement is shown for a brief moment, only to be taken away at the first opportunity it gets. By constantly feeding into this constant chase of the end that is always in sight, like droplets of waters from a faucet, the sense of hopelessness is compounded. To properly display this endless uphill battle that the crew have to face, beside the lifeless, barren wasteland that is the moon, is irony. The priceless resource that replaced money in this dystopian future is now possibly the biggest threat to humanity if brought back to Earth.
왜 그러세요? 이렇게 깨끗한 물 언제 봤는지 기억이 안 나서.
It goes without saying that the Silent Sea excels when it comes to displaying the horror of lunar water and the absurd idea of drowning from the inside. Most would expect red to be the dominant color of any liquid from a human body. In some alien movies, maybe green and goopy. Instead, what we get is
너 왜 이래? 얘 얼굴이 왜 이래? 너 어디 아파? 어?
Though being rather on the nose with social commentaries at the start, the Silent Sea very quickly drowned out the noises, leaving the space crew with the sound of their own breathing, and occasionally sounds of the past. The narrative is presented like a video game progression, where making it to an important piece of information or checkpoint will unlock the context in the past as an attempt to rationalize the present. The glaring difference between the two settings are most obvious when you compare the colors used. The past coincidentally matches the state of the dystopian world, overwhelmingly yellow and grim. The present, compared to years in the past, and the same present situation that the crew was in, is dominantly flat with lots of whites and grays, but at times out of this world. What is intriguing about the story, beside the constant game of trust within the crew members, is the fact that there is not one true antagonist throughout the show. Sure, there are the threat of intruders, the threat or opportunity of a survivor, the threat of backstabs and members going rogue, and of course, death. The setting is alienating, but the context is very much humane and relatable, because at the end of the day, the world is dying. The only difference is how you choose to act. With that being said, most would forget that the mission and the whole story was supposed to happen within 24 hours. The placement of flashbacks in between the progression of the story made it more intriguing, but at the same time it unfortunately made the ending rather dragged out. It was redeemed by bringing back the horrors of the lunar water, But the horrors of mankind were unfortunately left at the climax of the show, the revelation. The final puzzle piece is now revealed, but what are viewers left with? The mysterious moon creature is defeated, and all that's left is the rogue astronaut who happens to have seen everything all along yet decided to go with it. The signs were sprinkled right from the start, but that's the only thing to look for if you decide to watch a second time. Would things have turned out better if The Silent Sea was a featured film instead? Perhaps, but the way the story is told will change, and perhaps in doing so, the charm may simply not be there anymore. And that, in my opinion, is what could have been the perfect thriller.
너한테 바다를 보여주고 싶었는데.
If you have made it this far, congrats. I have been in hibernation since April, mainly because of work and, the big sad. Fortunately, I was intrigued by Bae Doona's performance in Kingdom and found her here, and I was inspired to make videos again. So yeah, if you have any suggestion for what I should watch next, leave it in the comments below, and hopefully the next time you see me won't be 4 months from now.